Good afternoon, everyone. This is Dylan Luss with the National Weather Service here in Atlanta, Peachtree City, Georgia, and this will be your weekly weather briefing for the period of December 5th to December 11th of 2024. So we'll start by giving a quick summary of the week ahead. Our only place where we have a slightly elevated risk level is going to be mostly into tonight. That's where we've got that 2 there. That's because frankly, it's going to be cold again. We've got temperatures that are going to be 10 to 15 degrees below normal tonight, as we've got yet another blast of Arctic air that's going to be moving into the area. After that, as we go into the weekend, we should see a slow warming trend. And then as we go into Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we do have some increased chances of rainfall, as we do have a weather system that's going to kind of move into the area and then potentially linger for a couple of days, and we'll get into the details of that here in a minute. Currently have those risk levels still at 1. We're not really expecting much in the way of thunderstorms at this time with this system, and we're not really expecting to have much in the way of flooding chances or anything like that with this system. So this looks like it should just be mostly a good soaking rainfall. However, given we're still talking several days out, you certainly want to stay tuned to that forecast just in case things do change. All right, let's get into the details now. So here's starting with what's going on, or I should say what happened last night. The rainfall that's happened since last night, we do have very light amounts that did happen across mainly western Georgia. We had some very, very light precipitation that moved over the area. For the most part, most of this was likely just drizzle that location saw. Really didn't see much in the way of accumulations, which doesn't do anything for some of our current drought conditions that we have across the area. As of right now, we've got mostly clear skies out there. We got a couple of clouds down in central Georgia, but those should be clearing shortly as we had a cold front that's moved through the area. And that is going to deliver yet another blast of Arctic air, as I mentioned earlier. Temps tonight are going to be pretty cold for our area. We're going to see widespread 20s, with some locations up in the mountains getting down into the teens. So it's going to be cold out there. Obviously, you want to make sure that you protect any pipes, anything like that. Not a bad night to leave those water faucets dripping, things like that. Now, as we go into the weekend, Friday, that Arctic air is going to hang around. It is going to be chilly tomorrow. We've got highs, for instance, in the metro that are going to be right around 40, and then down into central Georgia, temps that are going to be in the mid to upper 40s. However, as we move into Saturday and Sunday into the weekend, things are going to start to slowly warm up. We're going to move up into the 50s for highs on Saturday, and then we'll be making it into the upper 50s and even 60s for highs on Sunday. So nice slow warming trend. Here's your low temps to go with that Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday night. Friday night, it is once again going to be pretty chilly, but not as chilly as it's expected to be tonight. Still, potentially another night that you might want to leave those faucets dripping. Make sure you take care of any exposed pipes, things like that. Otherwise, Saturday night, we slowly start to warm up, and then Sunday night it actually is going to be relatively warm for this time of year as we move into December, and that's going to be because of some cloud cover thanks to a weather system that's going to be moving in the area, which we'll talk about now. So looking at our forecast on Monday and Tuesday, so basically we're going to have a big low pressure system over the Great Lakes area. It's going to be moving a cold front across the country. Out ahead of that cold front, we'll have a ton of moisture that's going to be streaming northward, and that's going to end up impacting our area. This system is going to be moving pretty slow overall, and that cold front is actually kind of expected to stall out just to the west of us. And so that means that moisture and all that stuff that's streaming northward that can give us some rain is going to kind of linger over the top of us Monday into Tuesday. Additionally, with that, we're going to have another potential little low pressure system that's going to form off the Gulf Coast here. And that, as we go into Wednesday and Thursday, will move up into our area and give us another shot of rainfall on Wednesday, potentially into Wednesday night, though it's looking right now, at least with the forecast, that it should start to come to an end by Wednesday night, at least across north and central Georgia. And then by Thursday, that'll help actually push that cold front through us, and we should start to clear out. And with that, we will have some cooler air that will start to filter into the area. But the good news with that is it doesn't look like it's going to be quite as cold as the current Arctic air that we've seen the past several days. So some good news there. So here's the rainfall forecast that's associated with those weather systems towards the beginning of next week. I do want to say again, at least right now, we're not expecting much in the way of thunderstorms. I can't rule out that we won't see some rumbles of thunder and things like that, but we're not expecting anything that would be strong or severe. Now, that could change. We're still several days out, and our better resolution models haven't had a chance to get a hold of this information yet. So once again, definitely stay tuned to the forecast with that, especially given we'll have a pretty strong cold front moving towards the area. However, as of right now, main impact will be rainfall. We'll have a few rounds of rainfall again that'll happen Sunday night through Wednesday. Our current forecast amounts across all 3 of those days or so is generally between 2 and 3 inches, but we could see some isolated higher amounts embedded within that. And when I say isolated higher amounts, to give some more specificity to that, we're talking about a 1 in 10 chance of seeing, say, greater than 4 inches in a given location when you add up all 3 days. So that's a decent amount of rainfall. It's a good soaking rainfall. The good news with that is that it's not a rainfall, especially over that long of a time period, that would likely lead to any kind of widespread flooding impacts or anything of that manner. Can't rule out that we could see some very isolated minor flooding impacts, especially in localized areas that do potentially see some heavier rainfall. But as of right now, once again, it would not be a widespread thing by any means. Which that leads nicely into the drought monitor, which we do have drought across the area, especially across northern Georgia and portions of western Georgia. And as you saw with that rainfall, we do have good news potentially in the forecast for that drought. For the update for that happened on December 3rd, there were no big changes. Basically, our drought remained mostly in the same. We didn't see a lot of expansion of the drought. We also didn't see much in the way of any shrinkage of the drought area or anything like that. So hopefully the rainfall that is coming in will definitely, especially given that it'll happen over a longer period of time, may have time to soak into the soils, things like that. Hopefully will do some good work for us in terms of getting rid of this drought. Last, I'll show you, or next to last, I should say, I'll show you the 7-day temperature outlook here. This is just broken down by cities, a couple of select cities across the region, as well as kind of a regional outlook altogether. This is just repeating more of the same that I said earlier in terms that temperatures are going to slowly warm into early next week, and then we'll see things cool down again as another cold front moves through the area. The good news, again, with that cold front that's expected to move through on Thursday is it shouldn't be as cold as the current Arctic air that we're going to have in place starting tonight into tomorrow. I'll also say, feel free to pause right here, take a look, find your city. If your city is not on there, do remember that you can visit weather.gov at any time and get detailed information about your specific location. That'll be very similar to what you see here. All right, now last we'll talk about the 6 to 10 day outlook. So what's going to happen after the end of this forecast period that we're talking about in this presentation. The good news here, again, we have on the 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook, it does show Georgia as having some above average chances of precipitation. That's just associated with that weather system that we were talking about as it moves through Wednesday into Thursday. The main thing I kind of want to focus on here is the temperature outlook, and you'll notice it says, at least for most of Georgia, near normal. And so even though we have that cold front that's going to be moving through, once again, this is just helping to highlight for you, we're not expecting a big like Arctic air mass to move into the area. It should still be relatively normal temperatures even after we have that front that moves through us. All right, and that's all we have for this week's weekly weather briefing. Just to summarize again, cold temps tonight, it'll be well below normal, temperatures in the 20s. Turn those faucets on. It's going to be cold again Friday, and then we're going to slowly warm up through the weekend, and then we'll have chances of rain Sunday night, basically Sunday night through Wednesday. And that's all we have here. Here's our various ways that you can reach out to us and contact us. We do monitor all of these pretty much all the time whenever we can. So if you need to reach out and contact us, please do. We'll try to get back to you. Otherwise, thank you so much and have a lovely rest of your week.